Hey guys, this is my first video tutorial, and let's get started with some jQuery examples. This is a JavaScript HTML file I created just for testing. I'm using IntelliJ IDE. It doesn't matter what you use, it could be anything. So once we include jQuery library in our web page, it allows us access to the jQuery object, which is named jQuery. We can also use the $ name to access it. For example, in order to explain this a little, $ is nothing more than just a acceptable, valid variable name. So we can assign it value of 1. And here, what we're seeing here is that $ is just a name like any other, A, B, C. In JavaScript you can use A through Z, doesn't matter what case. You can also use the $. You can also use underscore to name your variables, which is a little strange, but it works. And so jQuery named their object $. By the way, some of the other ones are not going to work. The comma, the dot, some of the other dash, they're just not going to work. Only $ and underscore really work when they're singled out as variable names. So the entire name for the jQuery object is $. And it's just like any function name. It could have been anything, but they just decided to use the $. Or the name jQuery. So let's get started. Because jQuery object is a function, we call it as a function. It's basically a constructor. We can talk about that later. But what happens here is we're calling the jQuery object $, opening string and specifying div. This is going to select all divs on our web page. It doesn't matter what they are. It's just going to select all tags by name. And if their name is div, it's going to select them into a list. If there's only one div on the page, it's only going to select one element. If there's 100 of them, it's going to select all of them. And we can assign this to a variable, let's say div. That's not because this is div here. It could have been anything. It could have been ABC, but just for completeness sake, if that makes any sense, div, variable name div. So from this point on, we can use the variable name div, which is now a jQuery object, and start calling jQuery methods on it. For example, one of the simplest ones is hide. This will hide all of the selected elements. And if we had we selected, for example, table or paragraph tag or anything, any name here, it would have selected only those tags by name. I've selected divs, so it's going to hide all of the divs by calling this method hide. That's the method that resides in jQuery object, so we can call it. There's another one, show. So all of this is going to do is hide and show all of the divs that we just selected. And all these two of these objects methods, all they do is they change the CSS of these divs. That's what they do internally. They're not actually hiding them by removing them from document object model, just your HTML. But there's another one that does, and it's called remove. So once you do this on those elements, they're entirely removed from DOM, document object model, which is your HTML element tree. And once you've done that and you want to show them again, this is not going to work at this point. You have removed them, they're gone. There's nothing to show. There's no way to unremove them. You have to, at this point, you have to re-add them yourself into the DOM. You can use jQuery for that too, but just to make a point that completely removes everything from the DOM, everything that was selected. So this is really how jQuery works at its basic. There are a few other things you can do with jQuery, and we'll talk about them in next tutorials. Thanks for watching.